Hi everyone, I'm Katya and welcome to my brand new channel. I am a fashion stylist and an editor, and I will be sharing a little bit of behind the scenes of how you can start this career and also tips and tricks for all the beginner fashion stylists. So basically in this video what I wanted to do is just tell a little bit about who I am and what I do, so that you actually know like who the hell you're listening to. So let's just get started. I work for a publishing company in Ljubljana, Slovenia, where I'm the executive editor at ELLE magazine. I'm the fashion editor at Cosmopolitan magazine, as well as fashion editor at Story magazine. And also I work for a news website called N1 inside the same publishing company. And then outside of that, I also do some freelance writing and journalism gigs for some smaller Slovenian media. So let's just tackle down what is what. So I got into this publishing company by an online competition. It was kind of like an internship. That's already, I think, 8 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and I was the first generation. I applied and I immediately got accepted to the position as like interim for the online editor at Cosmopolitan.si. And that project was about a few months and it was super successful. We got to see how the publishing company works, which are the magazines, and what we do at certain magazines. So I learned a lot. And after that, I was freelancing a little bit. And about a year after I finished this program, I got a call from ELLE to attend a meeting where I actually didn't know that I was at a job interview. I thought they're just gonna offer me some small gig, like maybe to go to Paris to report from Fashion Week or something like that. But no, they actually offered me a job because their assistant and fashion stylist went on maternity leave. So they gave me this opportunity, which was of course amazing, and I immediately accepted. So that was 6.5 years ago. So on my 30th birthday, actually, I started my first official day at ELLE. So I was an assistant to chief editor and also fashion stylist. I also did photo editing and some smaller jobs, a lot of writing. So the thing that you have to know about ELLE Slovenia is that the editorial staff is quite small. We're a small country, a small editorial staff. Everything is a little bit smaller than usual. So we each did a lot of different tasks. And then about 3 years ago, we restructured our company a little bit, as well as our editorial tasks. So I became the executive editor at ELLE magazine. I have many roles. I do a lot of writing. I cover music, interior design, lifestyle, topics such as travel. That's actually kind of like my favorite. I get to travel a lot, which is amazing. Then I would also write a little bit about wellness, and then just different topics like first-hand experiences about just being a woman, working in fashion. I wrote a lot about mental health, which is something that I really want to bring awareness to and make it a little bit less taboo to talk about. So that is like the writing part. And then there's a little bit more technical side of what I do, which is a lot of proofreading, a lot of editing of the visual materials, so like taking care of the photos and the overall aesthetics and the look, just checking that everything is credited, that everything graphically looks like it should, there is no errors, no mistake, nothing missing. So that's a little bit about ELLE. And then at Cosmopolitan, I started as a fashion editor basically 1 year ago, so it's my 1 year anniversary. I take care of about 8 to 10 pages where I have to create content which is very on trend. So I try to find topics that are super relevant right now and answer a lot of questions that the girls are asking themselves about fashion, about trends, about how to wear something, how to take care of clothes, how to combine trends, so things like that. So I would usually create this either from scratch, or I would find inspiration in other editions of Cosmopolitan. So that would be what I do for print. And then for the online version, I write 20 different articles per month, which are very similar to what I just described for print. So it will be a lot about like tricks and tips on like how to wear something, how to clean your clothes, how to wear sustainable clothes, how to find vintage pieces, how to upgrade your shoes, how to, you know, just amp your style. For Story magazine, basically I have 10 pages each month. Story magazine, first of all, is like an elevated gossip magazine. I think it only exists in a few of the Balkan countries, and Slovenia is one of them. I've been working there for quite a few years now. I think it might be like 2 or 3. I think I probably started at the same time as I became an executive editor at ELLE. So there it would be quite similar, it's just the audience is a bit different than, let's say, Cosmopolitan or ELLE. Of course, like always, you have to adapt your style of writing and your content to the target readers. So at Story magazine, I would include a little bit more like commercial trends, not so high-end as, let's say, at ELLE, and not so young and hip as at Cosmopolitan. Yeah, so basically my job is pretty much from day to evening behind the laptop. It has changed a little bit in the last few years just because I've been working remotely. So before the pandemic, I was going to our office in Ljubljana, but the pandemic kind of rearranged how we work, which I think happened in a lot of places. So with our company, it just became a lot easier to work remotely. So in the last 2 years, I have worked from Tenerife, I have worked from England, I have worked from Cyprus, from Fuerteventura in Canary Islands, and now I'm back again in London, where I am currently living with my boyfriend. And now we come to the most important part. It's actually why I started doing these videos. So in September last year, I started my own company called Katya Styles, which is basically an online business where I'm creating content and sharing different information, tips and tricks, behind the scenes, all that you're gonna see in the future YouTube videos and on my Instagram currently for beginner fashion stylists. I have to say, I haven't been styling a lot in the last 2 years since the pandemic because of my remote work and how we restructured everything. So I just kind of want to go back to the roots, I guess, maybe. But I also feel like I have a lot to share. I have a lot of knowledge, especially because back when I started 15 years ago, it was very difficult. First of all, I come from a small country, but a very small fashion scene where it was very limited in ways of like what you could do, and also very limited on information. Like I knew I wanted to be a fashion stylist since, I don't even know, I was probably a kid when I was already like going through ELLE magazine. I was just like mesmerized by the pictures. So, but I had no clue what a fashion stylist actually does, like what is the actual job description and what goes into that. Like I knew, okay, you get clothes and you dress a model, but like there's so much behind that. And if you already tried it, or if you're a fashion stylist, then you definitely know. comment below, please. But yeah, there was no social media, there was no YouTube videos, there was no tutorials, even like internet back then was very limited. Like I remember I was going to a library every Friday afternoon after school to like just be online because back then our home lines were still like really shitty. So it's so much easier these days to find the right contacts, to find the right information. And it's one of the reasons why I'm here and I want to share this, because at the same time I feel that fashion stylists and fashion professionals in general, they have this like mystery about the whole profession. It's very glamorized, which, you know, there are some parts of the job that are glamorized, but pretty much it's just very hard work and very physical. There is very little of the actual job that would be very creative and fun. Mostly it's just, yeah, it's just very tough work. So, okay, I don't want to ramble too much. Yeah, so back then it was very tough to just get started. It took a lot of effort, a lot of persistence, a lot of determination to find the right way and to get the knowledge and get the right experience to really start and get my career going. And I think in many ways it's still very similar, like the principles of it are still quite the same, and that's what I would like to share in my future videos. So like just guide you on like what are the steps that you need to do to basically get your career going. So if you have any comments, any questions, or anything that at all that you would like to say, please leave a comment. And yeah, if you like the content and would like to know more about how to start your career as a fashion stylist, then please do follow me. Okay, thanks and see you next time.